then it wouldn't be shortcut as well. So this will be for all the marbles in 3. So there is a new shortcut that was, I want to say just discovered, gosh, maybe a month ago now, where you want to line up and you want to use a heavyweight character. You can line it up with Bowser, most likely, and you want to cross the finish line and then cross back over the finish line, just going all the way to the left. And what's going to happen is the Lakitu is going to pick you up, and it thought that you went to the other side, and then you're going to skip a lap. However, FPG, he was a little bit too far to the right. The Mario Pianist did not get over. You have to jump frame perfect as you're about to touch the wall, kind of like how Toad's Turnpike gets it. FPG gets it. So they're basically just aiming for the middle of that dark blue and that light blue. So you can see the Mario Pianist did get it the second time. So they're up 1-1 right now. So they're about even, you know. Fruit Punch Gator is just a little bit ahead. He whiffs the third one, so now he's forced to drive around. So if he can get enough speed here, he'll be able to just hop off to the left and do the normal, you know, most widely known shortcut in Mario Kart 64. He just barely makes it in bounds. He almost sailed right over, and it's kind of tough to aim with Bowser because he's kind of slow, so you don't hold off the gas. But he was a little bit too far to the left. He ran the risk of going right over, but oh my God, the Mario Pianist hits the last one. He got it. So he's going to be up about a half lap now. That was clutch. So he gets a 35-30 and he moves on to lap 3. So essentially how that works is you want to sail over the other side of the Rainbow Road, and the game will update your position. Looks like FPG has paused, which does give him a did not finish, a DNF or a DQ, if you will. There's no pausing. I think he knows that he definitely lost this one. So TMP will just be able to coast in to the win. A very, very great effort. That was actually a great exhibition of showing off that shortcut right away, right at the beginning. So that was actually quite the start here. Yeah. It's crazy because for a second the game thinks you're going the wrong way, and then the Lakitu just kind of sails right up the center of the screen and goes off screen, which is one of the indicators that you at least hit somewhat the right spot. So the Mario Pianist just needs to cross the finish line, and he has won. Very, very good show. And he rolls through with a 252.94. Nice work. And that puts him up 1-0 in the first set of the One Try League match. And FPG is going to take us to Wario Stadium. Which, after a somewhat short track as far as shortcut goes, maybe this makes sense. A lot more technical. FPG being the higher ranked player, it does put him at quite the advantage. Because if we look at just the time differentials on all 16 tracks for both 3-lap and fast lap, FPG has all but 2 times that are better than the Mario Pianist. TMP has Luigi Raceway 3-lap and also Mario Raceway Fast Lap above FPG, but FPG does take all the rest. And the majority of shortcut tracks as well. So a lot of these are going to be largely in his favor, but as we've seen in many matches in the past, that doesn't really mean anything because you need to be consistent enough to be able to get a good one try time. So you hit a wall, it could be over. There's a mushroom spot in Wario Stadium. If you tumble, it's a massive time loss. And even if you are a better player, it still is very tough to gain that time back over the course of the 3 laps. You do it twice, it's definitely over. So both players just opting to drive straight. A lot of times you'll see higher ranked players, they'll use the start boost and go right into a drift right away, which does save a very small amount of time. He's able to get another mini turbo off. That was one of the acronyms that I said earlier as I was kind of like just throwing out Mario Kart 64 terms. An MT is the drift boost, also known as a mini turbo. And an SSMT is when you charge a mini turbo, aka the drift boost, over a straight stretch, hence straight stretch mini turbo. Both players had a pretty mediocre shroom over the double hills. It looks like TMP did bump the wall a lot more than FPG did, and so he is quite a little bit behind at the moment. Even though they're relatively in the same spot, it is a decent amount of time that they're behind right now. That TMP is behind rather. TMP taking a very wide turn on the approach up the hill. Here we go. FPG coming through with a 1:15.55, trailing. TMP has the 1:17. So he's gonna probably need either some tighter driving around the corners very consistently, and then also FPG may have to make a mistake. TMP was trying to hop into the mini turbo, but he kind of he missed it and he ended up going wide, which cost him a bit of time. Went a little bit on the inside on that double hop and he bumped the wall. Doesn't actually waste as much time as you think it would. It only wastes a very small amount. Very wide on the shroom. FPG had a much tighter mushroom coming around that corner, so he's going to gain a little bit more time yet. You can kind of see FPG just kind of pull ever so slightly away. Is there a way to stop the cart from going into a death turn before building the boost? Do you mean just as a generality, like when you're doing an SSMT? Because the way that you want to stop the cart from turning inward too much is you want to hop and turn on the same frame so that you're not turned too far. So the angle is what really makes the straight stretch mini turbo. You kind of want to be angled outward so that when you hop and turn on that same frame, instead of going to the left, if you're turning left or going to the right too far, you're kind of hopping into it and going mostly straight. And then of course how quickly you can charge that mini turbo is going to determine how much more you turn as you're charging that up. So you want to be doing it as quickly as you possibly can. The frame timing on that is when you hop and you start to drift. Correct. Yes, that is correct. If you are turning left, you pull left and hop at the same exact time. But then if you are still pulling left when you hit the ground, then you're really going to start turning. So you want to pull left and hop at the same time, but by the time that you hit the ground, you want to be pulling right because you need to hold back so that you don't just keep turning left. And then you charge the mini turbo, 9 frames. You flick the stick inside, to the right, 1 frame, and then out, and then the smoke turns yellow. You hold back for 4 frames, and then you flick the stick to the other side, 1 frame, then it turns red. Then you release and drive straight. So that's essentially it. Looks like FPG, just like what we saw, he pulled ahead, and he got that win right there. So it is now 1-1 in the first set. So yes, the timing is what really makes or breaks the mini turbos. If you hold it too far for too long, that's when you really start to go to one side. So if you're like hopping and you're still pulling left, you're gonna just keep going left. You want to hop, and then as soon as you hop, you want to be holding the opposite direction immediately, so that when you hit the ground, you're just driving straight and then charging. All right, and it looks like TMP is up next to choose, and we're going to Moo Moo Farm. So we went to one of the longest tracks of the game to one of the shortest, which is nice. It's kind of like nice ambiance, because this one will be over quite quickly, depending. So this track is, some regard it as one of the most fun tracks. I definitely don't. It is definitely one of the tougher tracks, and that is because it has one of the only random factors in time trials, which is the moles that pop out. So there's different patches of moles, and which hole has a mole pop out is completely random. Sometimes there may be none. Sometimes there may be, half, more or less, or all of them, if you're really unlucky. And ideally, you don't roll over any of those holes. But if you want to get a really good time, you're forced to, so that you can make a bigger turn. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're going over these, possibly hitting a mole because it's random. So you're essentially just trying to drive the same pattern and hope that you get lucky, and that's where the frustration comes in. Then the other frustrating part is that the terrain is very uneven on both sides of the track. So while you're trying to maneuver around these holes, or inside, outside, trying to get like a good bearing, TMP had a very dangerous spot going between there because he was off. That kind of just showcases it. Looks like FPG just slightly ahead by 0.2. So that kind of highlights it, because it's very hard to navigate, because you kind of feel like you're kind of being thrown around. And while you're trying to charge mini turbos on uneven terrain, some of those frames, like I was talking about, 9.1, I think it's 9.141, it might be 9.151 actually. Some of those frames won't count, so you're forced to charge, but sometimes maybe the smoke won't turn, and then you'll miss the mini turbo and then lose 0.15 seconds as a result. So looks like they're about even. Looks like FPG still has a slight lead. TMP missed a mini turbo and is having a rough time on that terrain. As you can see, going into the drift, sometimes you'll hop and then not drift. Both players hitting the hitting the mole at the same time. So FPG is going to take this 118.95 to 119.88 trailing. And that brings Fruit Punch Gator up 2-1 in set 1 of this match. And it looked like the Mario Pianist had you kind of saw that he was kind of slow to get back to top speed. Anytime that you hit a hazard, or slow down for any reason, you want to be triple tapping A. If you triple tap A, you'll get back up to top speed within a second and a half, versus about 5 or 6 seconds if you just press and hold A. Another quick tip for you. And Fruit Punch Gator has called Choco Mountain, so I have counted down the opponents, and we will begin. This is another technical track that, much like Wario Stadium, favors the higher ranked player. This is, as far as if you're kind of looking at the ranking of the times on MarioKart64.com, it is what we call low variance track. And that means that a lot of the times are very bunched up. So you'll see like, FPG has a 136.46. And this is just an example. The next ranked player will be 136.45, or maybe it'll be like a two-way tie, 136.45, and so on and so forth. So to gain a lot of ranks, you don't have to cut a lot of time. You'll cut a decent amount of people at every level, because the times are so bunched up. So that's what we mean by low variance. So both players at a good start. TMP going for the mushroom around the second turn, which is very typical for a 3-lap. FPG is going to save it. He's probably going to use it around one of the final turns. It looks like FPG is actually about even here. He was before he was charging the mini turbo around where that fence line is. You want to get as close as you can and charge a mini turbo, but he hit the wall and lost all of his speed. So TMP is a little bit ahead here. Actually, I take that back, because he used double mushrooms. So he's actually ahead. TMP is struggling around to get around the hills here. That's probably the thing that you really don't want to see, is if you touch the uneven walls, you are slowed down by a considerable amount. So bearing in mind, once he was kind of thrown off the wall, he was forced to bump through the other side. So FPG commandingly in the lead at this point. You know, he could hit a wall and tumble. That's probably about the only thing that would save the Mario Pianist at this point. Yes, that is right. I actually forgot about that. So the Mario Pianist, his controller is a little on the fritz, so it does pull ever so slightly to the right, which is considerable for a very narrow track like Choco Mountain, Banshee Boardwalk, things of that nature. It's gonna make it actually a big difference. So Fruit Punch Gator is now up 3-1. He takes this this course, so the next course may potentially be the last one of the set. Make sure that's updated. And that is correct. Peachy, Toad, and Yoshi are the fastest characters, so you want to be using any of those three, and you'll have the same results. Toad technically has a slightly less weight than the other two lightweights, which really doesn't matter at all in terms of non-shortcut. But if you're playing, say, Grand Prix mode and you were getting like bouncing into medium weights or heavy weights, Toad gets pushed around a lot easier because of that slightly less, that very slightly different weight that he has. It's very slight, but it does kind of make a difference with how he bumps over walls if you're doing shortcut, or if he gets hit by any other CPU. And looks like we're going to Bowser's Castle. So yes, for the most part, no difference, except under certain circumstances. So in the scope of this one-try league, it makes no difference, as long as you play a lightweight character. And you're welcome. So one thing to note for the one-try league is when we're normally doing time trials, you're able to use a ghost to kind of see, like, you know, if you're on pace to get a PR meaning personal record or your best time. So in most tracks, you would have a ghost that you're following or just trying to beat, so that way you know that you're on pace for that. But on Bowser's Castle, you use a ghost to trick the thwomps. So on the stage, there's thwomps that are kind of roaming around. There a lot of them are just going in a set cycle, like going left to right, you know, just kind of slamming the ground. You're just trying to get in your way, but on a set pattern. But two in the hallway, in the big room, the second one coming up, is these two thwomps will follow you and try to slam down in your way. So you're forced to go around them. TMP hits a thwomp, so FPG is going to be vastly ahead. You want to be as perfect as you can, because as you can see, the Mario Pianist hit a second thwomp. Those other thwomps are on a set cycle, so as long as you don't hit anything, you know kind of where to go. Once you get kind of thrown around a little bit, you're kind of at the mercy of your own reflexes, you know, and your own decision making. So now he's forced to wonder, should he go left in some instances, go right? You know, is there spots where he can get, you know, smashed if he goes his usual routes? So FPG is decidedly in the lead at the moment for a few reasons, more than just, you know, being ahead. But he does hit one as well, so now he's going to be at the mercy of the cycles now too. So it's all a guessing game. And see, in that small hallway right before the rope bridge, you don't have a lot of time to react to that, so you're just praying at that point. You're really praying if you're not on, you know, a no-hit run, essentially. So anyways, the thing about the ghosts is that the thwomps that follow you, you can just put a ghost in the corner instead of following you. They'll just sit in the corner. Now that's disallowed for the one-try league, and isn't something that you can use. Because it does give people, especially people that do or don't have a memory pack, a little bit of an advantage. So you're forced to play without it. So both players making it through. FPG making it past the final thwomps, so he's all good. He does bump the wall a little bit, just rocks him back just a little bit. So FPG is going to take this unless he miraculously falls into some lava. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case, and he makes it. Clutch, and he's going to take the first set. 4-1 in the first set. Boom. So now that one set has been won, now the loser of the previous set, TMP, is going to choose the first track. And I kind of didn't go into this at the beginning, but each player has a pool of the 16 tracks that they're able to play, and to pick rather, and they go back and forth picking. And once they've picked that course, they can no longer pick it for the first set or the second set. So, you don't want to use your best tracks right away because you might need it in a clutch, tiebreaker or things of that nature. The Mario Pianist has chosen Mario Raceway. And I've counted them down. So in the meantime, that pool that they have, let's say, TMP has chosen Mario Raceway. Now, even though FPG still has Mario Raceway in his pool, he's not able to choose Mario Raceway for the second set. You can't have the same course in the same set, so kind of have to take that into consideration as well. So, yes, exactly, and especially when there's a difference in rankings, there are some tracks that are a lot better for the lower ranked player to win against a higher ranked player, such as DK Jungle Parkway, which has high variance. There's many ways for you to save or lose time or make a mistake, fall in the water, things of that nature. So you do kind of have to know what tracks is your opponent good at, what tracks are they bad at that you think that you can exploit, and which ones are just good because they're kind of random, like Moo Moo Farm. No matter what rank you are, you're always in danger of hitting a mole. DK Jungle Parkway, you will make a mistake. That's just how it goes. And then Yoshi Valley has the Spinies, which are on a set cycle, but still really tough to avoid. So there are decision making in that, and then decision making on how you play it as well. All right, so both players off to a good start here. They're about even. TMP loses control at the end there, so he does lose about half a second. FPG pulling ahead ever so slightly. You'll see kind of higher ranked players cut that mushroom like on the inside, which does save a ridiculous amount of time. If you make it through there 3 in a row, the other person, if they go around, they lose a lot of time. So looks like they're both playing it safe, which is okay. And they're all going around. Looks like FPG is still quite a bit ahead. He's gonna have to make a mistake, mess up the mushroom. Looks like TMP went for it. Smart choice. I mean, I would have, even just to get that little extra time. It probably would have about tied it up if he would have made it through. So he doesn't make it through. He does kind of bump the mushroom on the wall because he had a bad angle, and FPG is gonna take it. He is now up 1-0 in the second set. And now, because he won the other person's pick, now he has now up a point, and he gets to choose, which is an ideal situation. And he chooses Royal Raceway. Yes, that is right, Time. Thanks for the recognition. Nantuko, I am doing very well, and I hope you are too. Whole milk? My gosh. Wait, like just drinking it? Gotta get the vitamin C, so. Or not vitamin C, the calcium. Oh my gosh. Womp. I know things. Yeah, while it is a surprise he didn't pick it in the first set, he was up. He was, this is kind of where that decision making comes in. Yes, vitamin D and calcium. Thanks, guys. Exactly. So even though, that is definitely a good pick for him, this does favor the higher ranked player, which FPG is. Saving it for now when, he's already kind of at an advantage and, he still has it as a pick is good. It was good to save it, in my opinion. The Mario Pianist is probably going to want to pick some higher variance tracks to give him a little bit more of an edge. So there's a 180 turn there where you cut over the grass. The Mario Pianist he went a little bit too far on the inside, and he did what I normally do in a one try, which is hit the wall, and you're forced to just do a 360 to get around it. So he is very, very behind now. He's the entire ramp behind now. It's going to take something drastic for Fruit Punch Gator to give up this one. So it is now currently his course to lose at the moment. You hate to see it, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's just how it is. And TMP, just to put a few more nails in the coffin, he falls in the water. And he will slowly get back up to speed. Coming around, finishing up the first lap on a 104.38. FPG is going to need a power outage. Or catastrophic event. Well, in all good faith, it's always best just to finish. There's it's good sportsmanship to drive around, no matter what pace you're on. The shortcut track I can totally see, but you might as well just give it your all. You never know. FPG's N64 control stick could break off at any point. You never know with these janky controllers. They can just go at any point. I've seen it happen. Or maybe the cartridge will just get that bit flipped, and then the whole physics will just get warped out. You never know. Act of God, who knows? But you're all in good faith and good sportsmanship. You should still drive around. That's generally smiled upon. We're all smiles here in Mario Kart. No, you wouldn't want to win that way, without a doubt. You would hate to see it. TMP bumping into the wall, and he does drive around. Sunshine and rainbow roads, yes. All right, so FPG now up 2-0 in the second set, and he's still up one set to TMP 0. Looks like the Mario Pianist is choosing Yoshi Valley, smart choice, and I will count them down. Oh yes, he absolutely is. Much like how I said at the beginning of the stream here, he does hold the majority of shortcut tracks over the Mario Pianist, and he is going to be highly favored in a lot of these tracks. But like I was saying before, a high variance track will allow TMP to get ahead if FPG falls off, or if he plays safe. If he chooses to play safe and the Mario Pianist makes it through unsafe territory, he will win. Just because going around, is such a time loss, huge. But if you hit a spiny and then go off the road, anything can happen. These are always up in the air, no matter what. I believe both players hit 2 out of 3, if I recall. Or FPG hit 1 out of 3 and TMP made 2 out of 3. I think that's what it was. So FPG does go around. TMP made it through the spinies, but as you saw with the uneven, the volcano right there, he got sucked in, and a lot of times because of that polygon seam, you kind of get sucked in between the ground and the wall of the volcano, and you lose all of your speed. And then because he lost all of his speed, he was trying to get around the volcano, went wide, and then he had a wide turn going over the short, the hairpin cut, and fell off. But still, no reason to give up, because there's still things that can happen. TMP unfortunately hit the spiny on a wrong angle, and because you lose control, you spin out and you go forward for a bit. You can't turn, you can't do anything, and in that specific spot, you'll fall right off because there's no fence. So FPG again decidedly in the lead. We've seen shenanigans in the past. He could get hit by the egg. He could fall off twice. He did play this one very safely, which you know, it's sometimes it could be the worst play and you lose because you went all the way around, but just due to mistakes from TMP's side, he will make it through and take this one. And he is not only going to be up 3-0 in the second set, but he's also going to have the next pick. So again, a very advantageous scenario to have, because he can pick a course now that he is good at, better at, or one that has low variance. So you know, he, even though some people may call him a coward, you know, no guts, no glory, right? It was still a smart play. TMP made the smart play with the course, and FPG made the smart choice with, you know, not going the spiny route. So that's the counter play. That's how it is. It could have gone either way for either player. So that is up 3-0. FPG is up to pick. And he's going to take us to Toad's Turnpike, which, again, a low variance track will favor him. Just waiting for both players to ready up. And they are counted down. So, Toad's Turnpike is a course that has a figure 8 in terms of its course design. And it also has cars, buses, trucks, all sorts of highway simulator-esque traffic. And it's all on a set timer. A set cycle, I mean. So all of those trucks, buses, etc., are always going to be in the same spot. So again, like other set cycle courses like Bowser's Castle with the Thwomps, as long as they're on the same pace, they'll be in the same exact spot. So you kind of know about where they're going to be. But again, this is another low variance track where, you know, saving 0.01 of a second can net you several ranks. So it's going to favor the higher ranked player, who will just be generally better at driving, mini turboing, hugging the turns, etc. So they go on the inside of the bus, and what you want to do is you want to stay as close to the left side and charge mini turbos, and then just drive straight. But FPG, he went a little bit wide and ended up hitting the back of that truck, so he was forced to use a mushroom to get back up to speed. So the Mario Pianist is ahead. And so there's straight stretch mini turbos down this long straightaway as you weave in and out of traffic, which makes it pretty tough. You know, if you miss a mini turbo like you saw TMP on the right, you can get thrown out. If you bump the wall, you can get pushed, you know, very far to the opposite side and hit a bus, truck, etc. Even though he's had a little bit of maneuvering issues, he's still in the lead, because hitting a vehicle will cost you about 2 seconds. So just with a little bit better driving, he lost about a second and a half, a second and some. And when they use mushrooms, they can use it around any turn. They save about the same amount of time, so you can save all the mushrooms for any turn, really. So even though we'll see that one person has used so many shrooms and the other person has only used less or more, it'll all even out in the end, as long as they use them and don't bogart them for the entire track, which isn't recommended. So now both players have used them. You can kind of see TMP is taking wider turns when he's doing the mini turbo. So you can see FPG is just slowly gaining little bits of time left, but he still had the final mushroom. He gets through with the 51.10. But you saw FPG did gain about a half second on him, or 0.4 of a second on him. So just little mistakes will add up on this one. Hitting another truck, bus will definitely cost you. But you can kind of see FPG's hugging the turns a little bit more, and we'll see what's going to happen here. It kind of looks like he's gaining the time. By the time they get around that final turn, it's going to be tough. TMP misses a mini turbo, so he's forced to recorrect. While FPG he's missed a couple here, but he's definitely catching up. You can kind of see like where the traffic comes in, that TMP is still ahead. The last part of lap 3 is the toughest part because you have to charge mini turbos, and oh no, TMP hits it's a truck at the last second. That's exactly the problem, is that they're all bunched up at the end, and it makes it very tough to maneuver. So if you're a little bit off on those mini turbos, you're gonna go right in, and gosh, you hate to see it. But FPG takes that one at the last moment. He takes set 2, and we will move on to set 3. So one thing to note, like I was saying earlier, is that set 3 means that the player's pool of 16 tracks has now reset. So now they can start choosing whatever course that they had previously picked in the past. All right, so FPG wins that one 4-0 TMP. But we could see the reverse sweep. Let's see TMP take one set. Yes, we are on set 3. Looks like the control stick listing lazily to the right for the Mario Pianist has actually backfired on him, I think, twice now. Yoshi Valley, thrice now. Choco Mountain, and now Toad's Turnpike. So it appears that he's playing with a little bit of a handicap, which is unfortunate. I think he might. Nope, he's not. I thought he said be right back to go change a controller, but Fruit Punch needs a moment, so we are going to break just for a moment here. But just so you know, the Mario Pianist, because he lost the previous set, he will now choose first, and he has chosen Moo Moo Farm. So this one is a very high variance track. It's very short. The moles, the randomness factor, the fact that not many people want to play it as a result of that, or only the most insane players love it, just because you basically just hitting the moles over and over again, but you're forced to drive the same and just pray. My favorite track song. Let me think about that. I would say Koopa Troopa Beach. It's very serene. It's very, it gives you that feeling like you're on a beach, and it's just a good melody. I love that melody. And which is funny because Koopa Troopa Beach is actually my nightmare track at the moment, because getting into the cave while doing a mini turbo off the ramp is tough for me. It's my lowest ranked time, so it's actually one that I actually avoid. But I love the track on it. There's a remix by Vector U on YouTube. Highly recommend Koopa Troopa. FPG hits. Oh man, he hits the bridge there. And he tumbled. You heard the Toad yell. That was more. Usually, if you hit that wall, you will just get pushed back. But he actually tumbled, and he hit the first set of moles. So TMP is largely it has a large lead at the moment. He can basically drive very safely and take this one. Yes, exactly, Nantuko. That the waxing and the waning of the waves, depending on what pace you're at, you just get stuck. And the worst is on lap 3 when you get stuck and you are not able to go through. Anyways, TMP still majorly in the lead. Oh gosh, the mole actually ducked down and was gonna jump out, but he made it over the hole before it jumped out, and he does take this one. He has drawn blood in set 3. TMP, is this the beginning of the reverse sweep? Time will tell. And it looks like Fruit Punch Gator is going to fire back with Royal Raceway Fast Lap. So he has used his Fast Lap Joker. Boom, gone. And what this means is Flap, aka Fast Lap, is Oh, pardon me. A fast lap, aka flap, is when you use all 3 mushrooms on one lap, and that's on the Mario Kart rankings. You have two times for every track: a 3 lap where you drive all 3 laps, and then you also have the fast lap or the best lap, as you can see on the map select here. The game does keep track of that one single best lap. Okay, and what happens is on a lot of tracks you do it on the second lap because, as you can see, as they start here, you start behind the finish line, which means that there's a small amount of time that's wasted, even though you have the start boost. Some tracks you do it on the first lap, but in the terms of the one try league, when you call the fast lap, you just play the first lap. You know, there's no setup. You just go, use all 3 shrooms, and the first to cross over the first lap will win. So we'll see them cut large pieces of the grass using the mushrooms, and then at the end, we'll see them cut the final strip of grass around the final turn, and just try to get over the finish line before sometimes falling off or sometimes not. TMP a little bit too far to the left. He hits the hill, and you tumble when you do so, which will stop all of your speed. So if FPG falls off, there could be a thing, but he makes it over. 48-14 to 49-94. Nice work, and FPG is up, back up with a point, and it is now 1-1 in set 3. 2 sets to 0, FPG to TMP. All right, and TMP will choose, and he's thinking about it, and we're going back to Bowser's Castle. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, so Bowser's Castle, again, it features the thwomps, which are on a set cycle except for 2. They're going left to right, smashing up and down, and you want to be weaving in and out, making sure that you, of course, don't hit them, because once you have hit something or if you messed up royally, those set cycles, which you mostly have memorized, will be off, and when that's off, you're at the mercy of making turns and just wondering where those thwomps are going to be. So ideally you hit 0, of course, but if you hit 1, you're just praying at that point. So the other 2 thwomps will follow you down a long room and then try to get in your way and slam down in front of you or slam down on top of you. Getting hit by a thwomp is really bad because not only do you get smashed and the thwomp laughs in your face and smashes you a couple more times, you then have a long animation of you floating up. Both players making it through that room. That is very clutch. So now they're going to be on a good pace to get through to lap 2. FPG hits the mini turbo down the stairs. Charging that on the bridge is very narrow and tough to do. That's another thing we were talking about, mini turbo or SSMT angles. That's one you have to nail, otherwise you're going to fall into the lava, or you're not going to charge it. Sometimes you'll hit the walls on each side. So FPG just slightly ahead by 0.17. Oh, but the Mario Pianist hits the wall and he doesn't make it into the castle at the beginning there, so he's now severely behind. But the thwomps were in a good spot for him to get through into the narrow hallway, and he does slip through. So still not bad. Oh, absolutely sinister. There's several layers of meta, and you'll see that, especially at the highest level play in this league, the picks, the counter picks, and just general knowledge does actually go quite a long ways. It's a lot more than just driving. In time trials, you're just driving a course over and over again. This forces you to be consistent. The more consistent player, or the player that doesn't makes the least mistakes, will thrive. So FPG hits the thwomp, but TMP takes he bumps the wall and is thrown into the lava. So he was actually going to catch up there with potential to win this one, but falling in the lava Lakitu picks you up and puts you back on the road. So FPG is going to win this one, and he's going to be up 2-1 in the third set. But yes, these are quite interesting at all levels. So I recommend checking them out. We don't have too many more of these league matches anymore going forward. So there's just a few more, but there are some good ones coming up. All right, FPG 2 courses to TMP's 1 set 3, and looks like the Mario Pianist is taking us to Choco Mountain. Looking for a little redemption after that last one, I'm sure. Because his controller lists lazily to the right. Did throw him into some hills, and he lost a lot of speed there. Whoa, did I pit? Oh, gosh. I did not even know. So, good good catch on that one. So again, Choco Mountain, a very technical track. This was one of the low variance tracks, which means that FPG has the higher ranked time, that he's a higher ranked player. He is at an advantage just as a general, maneuverability, his general skill level. But again, because it's a one try, you only get one shot. Things can happen. So that's where the real magic of the matches come in, because one small mistake can really mess it up here. So we're kind of seeing the same thing that we saw last time. The Mario Pianist uses a mushroom around the second turn rather, but again he hits the slope, and he is thrown out, and he loses his speed. So FPG is trying to take a lead here. FPG was charging the mini turbo around the fence line, but he bumped the fence and kind of threw him out, which loses time. At the end of the stage here, you can see that there's three hills at the end, and there's what we call good hills and bad hills. And what you want to do is, when you go around that final turn, you want to kind of hold on to that last mini turbo, so that as you glide, meaning driving straight using that boost, you want to clear go up the first hill, clear the second hill completely, and ride down the back of it, and then get shot out through the third. If you kind of see them slap against the top, that's what we call bad hills, and you lose. I would say upwards of like 0.2. FPG hit all, so that was bad. TMP also got bad hills as well, but FPG just generally driving a lot cleaner. It looks like this is going to be his course to lose again. He does kind of bump against the wall and go wide around that turn. TMP taking it a little bit cleaner around there. He gains a little bit of time. Sometimes, especially on whatever pace you might be, you can be at risk of getting hit by those boulders. And those boulders, much like the thwomps, will smash you, and then you have that long animation. So FPG getting the good hills there. You can kind of see how much smoother it is. TMP clipping the top. FPG is going to take this one 140-57 to TMP's 145-03. So that puts us up 3-1 in the third set here, and it not only does that, but it also gives Fruit Punch. Oh, actually, I had that backwards. It is now the Mario Pianist's pick. I guess I had those backwards. So hopefully this will give him a little bit of an edge, but he's gonna choose Koopa Troopa Beach. And because I had that backwards, it was a good pick from FPG, because he was at a greater advantage. So I thought it was strange that TMP would have picked Choco Mountain. So I was wrong. So FPG picked that, and now, yes, FPG picked that, and TMP is taking us to Koopa Troopa Beach, which, like we said, a very nice soundtrack. It's very serene, very calming, but yet a very frustrating track for many people, myself included. Because at the end of the stage, there's two things going on. One is that there's a tide that's rising and waxing and waning close to the beach, and depending on what pace you're at, it is on a cycle. So depending on what pace you're at, you can get stuck in the water, which will lose you your speed, your time, things of that nature. And also, there's little crabs walking on the beach as well, and it's completely random where they're gonna be every time. They're one of the other random factors in time trials. And then this ramp into the cave is designer intended, so is okay for non-shortcut. TMP kind of hitting the wall and hitting the tree there. Both players are going to go up onto the beach and avoid the water. And FPG looks like he's ever so slowly hit, but he hits the wall. He kind of bumped the wall and got turned in way too far. There is slightly uneven ground on that turn or on the wall. Oh no! So TMP had a lead there, but he didn't make it into the cave, which is about a 10-second loss. A little bit more because he wanted to do a backup jump off the wall into the cave, which is allowed. So now FPG is again in the lead, and it is now his course to lose at this point. TMP, because now the tide was high, he was forced to go wide and go on the beach. So FPG coming up to the cave, he makes it in. He jumps up quite a bit early on that one and just barely makes it in. Uses the mushroom and the tide lowering, so he's able to go more to the right, which does save time. And he rolls through 127.20. TMP making it in the third try, and he will gracefully go to. Well, oh, I retract that statement. He's going to go in a circle. He's going to go in another circle. He's going to go out of bounds. Race data cannot be saved for Ghost, and he pauses. So DNF, and FPG takes it 3-0. Congratulations. Throw those GGs into the chat. And that will conclude the match for today. And I think I'll see if they want to come in for some commentary or post game. And while I wait for a response, I'll just kind of shout out what's going on in the future. So we have a match tomorrow, Mr. Pitt versus Itchy, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. It'll be commentated by me, Haddock. So if you liked my comment jockeying, come out. If you want to see the next match and kind of see how these play out, please come out. And then on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern U.S. is Matthias versus Dan, the number 1 and number 2 non-shortcut players in the world. So that's going to be a very high-level match. You really see how these take off. And that's going to be commentated by Smurfy and Nantuko Avatar. So come on out. And I will bring them in. Give me just a moment. Oh, here we go. I believe I figured it out. So we're going to pull them in here. And we're going to talk. Hello there.
Hey, what's up, Attic?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, not bad.
So I just want to say, really good job on the Rainbow Road shortcut at the beginning there. We've had some attempts in the past that didn't make it over, and that was actually quite good. So good job making, I think 1 out of 3 and 2 out of 3 respectively.
Yeah, I had 1 out of 3. It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that was great. Unfortunately, looks like TMP just I feel like that controller really puts you at a disadvantage in some of these, Yoshi Valley, Choco Mountain.
well, yeah, maybe if I didn't chuck the controller on the ground for no reason.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
And maybe if I actually had an actual first-party controller, not one of these third-party pieces of junk. But
That'll also do it.
Oh gosh.
but sounds like a Christmas present. But anyways,
Right? Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, I am out $50, so there's that. But
Dang.
that's,
That was a
that
good
is-
bet. I mean, that was a 2 out of 3.
I mean, you got 2 out of 3. Better than I got.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say the controller. Oh, why did you toss the controller? That's what I was gonna ask.
It was nothing really. Like I just like it was like when I was warming up beforehand. I was just my mother kept coming into my room like literally every 2 minutes while I'm trying to warm up. I'm like, you know what? And so I dropped it on the ground. I dropped it. It landed right on the control stick.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was like-
those ones are really bad too. The third-party
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, if they touch anything, it's just gone.
Yep. I've used some replacement ones in the past, and they're just not the same. So you'll
Right.
definitely be able to take advantage of a OEM controller soon. I take it you don't have any other controllers, and that was your only one.
I like in the start of set 3, I switched to my other one, which suffered a similar fate. Like I didn't.
Oh no.
That one I think drifts a little bit left. It's and I didn't even throw that one. I don't know what that one was all about, but in any case, yeah. So that one was better, but
Mm-hmm. Very
Yeah.
nice.
but obviously an obligatory GG for Fruit
GG.
Punch. Yeah.
Yeah, GG. Congrats on the win, which means you went undefeated, 11-0 in this entire league, which I don't think anybody else did. I'm trying to think if anybody else went undefeated throughout the whole league.
I think
think
Xander was
Xander did.
undefeated
Well, in
in
his
his D2
division.
matches. His only losses came in D1, but
Oh, that's right, because he was kind of like the in between for Division 1 and Division 2. That's right.
mhm.
Oh gosh. It looks like he did lose a few in this one in Season 2 for Middle Division. I'm just looking at the website right now. Looks like Dan's game is 9-0. So we'll see if Matthias has something to say about that on Sunday.
Well, I don't know if Xander. I think Xander's losses in D1 got counted in his D2 standings,
yeah.
but
Okay.
I think that's what happened. But
Okay. Oh, that makes sense then. That makes sense.
I saw it. He went through D2, but I could have been wrong.
Okay. It may or may not be. It's not really reflected.
Mm-hmm.
Just glancing at it, rather. Were there some courses that you guys felt went well, or you think maybe could have gone a little better?
Moo Farm. That went,
Yeah, definitely
not
for
well.
both of you guys.
Yeah. Oh, I should have won Moo Moo Farm twice. I should have won the first time, but I went
yeah.
a little sloppy, and the right drag controller didn't help either. But it dragged me into a mole. But that's
Yeah.
besides
Yeah.
the point.
And it was crazy. The first time you both hit a mole in the last lap too, so it would have gone either way if you guys would have missed it.
Yep. But my Choco is garbage whether I have a
like
working
my
controller or
chocolate
not.
well.
Yeah.
It's just a tough course. If you touch the wall ever so slightly, the hole runs over. So
Mhm.
no worries about that. That's pretty normal. And you have to play so aggressively that it can be frustrating on its own. And that's like another track a lot of people don't really like, but learn to love.
Right, which is that, and that's why I think that's a huge benefit for FPG to be so proficient at that in one tries, especially that like
Yeah.
Oh, it's
like
huge,
a lot
yeah.
of people don't like that, and he can put up those 140s like nothing, and
Yep.
yeah,
That's huge. Like I have trouble hitting a 140 sometimes, especially in a one try scenario. So it's actually really impressive. The consistency is really what's key here.
mm-hmm.
Looks like Dossie wants the $50 deposit in his account.
Yeah, don't do it.
So he
I
can
mean,
fork it over.
I'd rather pay Dossie than Dan, but maybe Dossie will put some of it into the Division 3 playoff fund, but
Hey,
but anyway.
so I believe there are no more matches for either of you now. Or that's the end
Yeah, I
of.
think we're done for the round robin.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, congrats on the 11-0. That's wild.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think I'll wrap.
I was lucky I played Dossie early.
That's awesome.
Think with the loss I wrap up as this. I could fall down to the 8th seed depending on how like Mr. Pitt's match ends up, but
Yeah.
I won't fall any lower than 8. Or wait, I can't remember. I think it's 8. This is the lowest I could fall. But in any case, then for starting in 2021 is when we'll have our playoffs. We'll have a nice little bracket.
Yeah.
12-team bracket with play-ins. It's kind of like a play-in for 5 through 12.
Oh, very nice. I actually was unsure about the playoffs here. I knew that there was a little bit of a break, but I forgot the format.
We just kind of came up with it recently, I think.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. Any additional comments from you guys?
Nope, that's it for me.
Nope, I can't complain.
Sounds good. Yeah, no problem, guys. I hope you guys have a good night. And thank you, SpeedGaming, to host us here on Mario Kart. If you guys want to join the leaderboards, go to MarioKart64.com. We also have speedrun, all cups, skips, and no skips, if that's your deal. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the Mr. Pitt versus Itchy match. It's going to be great. So thank you, everybody, and have a good night.
See ya.
See ya.